recording button, we lose the whole thing. So let's not try to do that. We've
done that no worries.
That was a lot of fun. I'm like, don't leave. And then she left. And I was like, fuck. Okay. I quickly took a look at your website. So Ray Kerr of Black Diamond Coatings.
Sealing. No, Black Diamond Sealers.
Okay. So that's what I have up on my screen. So I will use that. Always happy that I had to double check that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions before we start?
No, good to go.
Okay, let's rock and roll.
This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Sean Preston.
Welcome, everyone, to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today, we have another good neighbor on the show, and that is Ray Kerr of Black Diamond Sealers. What's going on, Ray?
Not too much. How you doing?
Hey, man, doing well. Sunshine finally out there, so super happy about that. Also happy with the rain. Not going to lie, bit of a green thumb for those who don't know. In COVID, my mom's always kind of, been a gardener. I've always kind of been around that, spent time with my mom doing that. And then, COVID hit. We all know we had all this extra time. So I was back there doing my fence, restained it the whole bed. And then I put in 2 garden beds and then kind of got addicted. So now I have 6. And that, knowing that the rain that comes from the sky is better than the stuff that comes out of the hose, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I have a couple rain barrels in the front of the house, decide I'm going to do that. And man, it works. It works really well. But, I can only carry, I got 2 hands. So it takes about 40 minutes to water the whole thing. So we go 4 or 5 days without rain, man, I'm really working back there. Or when the rain comes, I'm one of those guys, I'm like, yeah, bring it on,
For sure.
So I'm sure people are chomping on the bit to get to know you and your business a little bit. So why don't we dive right in? Why don't you tell us a little bit about your business?
Yeah, for sure. So Black Diamond Sealers is obviously a driveway sealing and maintenance company. We do a few other things as well. We do like pressure washing for concrete pads, things like that, as well as clear coating for either like paver stones or stamped concrete. I consider us in one of the, the top echelons of the companies in the area for sure. We hold ourselves to a very high standard. Everybody that kind of comes in to get service from us, we kind of feel that you're part of, the Black Diamond Sealers family. And the relationships that we have with our customers are much more important than the money that we can make. So we only ever recommend services that we feel are valued for you, that you're going to get your money out of the, what you put into it. We're not the cheapest guys out there, but we're also not the most expensive. We have a competitive but also professional price point. And we have things like a quality assurance on our work, as well as a 1-year warranty on like any patchwork or anything like that we do. So we do everything we can to just show the customers that, we're confident in what we're going to do for you. If you're ever unhappy with anything for whatever reason, we're going to come back. We're going to repair all that free of charge. We make every stretch that we can to show that, we're not like a fly-by-night. We're a professional company and we're going to take care of you.
Nice. How long have you guys been around for?
So I've been doing driveway sealing for 12 years, but the company itself is now 7 years old.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. So that local community, the people that live here native to Simcoe County, those people are important to you guys. You guys involved in the community, stuff like that?
As much as we can be, right? It's driveway sealing it's pretty hefty business. We stay busy pretty much all season long. And, when, it's things like rain and stuff like that, when we can't do the sealing, we're usually out trying to do pressure washing or things like that. So it is a very, very demanding business. But, we do as much as we can. We have senior discounts. We do things free here and there for people who are in need a little bit. So it just, wherever we can kind of turn the stone and make something better, we do that when we can.
No, very nice, man. I've had my driveway sealed a couple times, became a homeowner in 2019. Awesome. I'm due, so we should talk after the show. One of the benefits of being a podcaster, you get to meet so many different people. So that's always a great thing. Let's dive into some of these services that you offer. I like to let curiosity lead the conversation. What are some of the benefits of doing and sealing your driveway?
Yeah, so it's it's really 90% of the customer base does it because it looks great. But it is providing a watertight seal of the asphalt. It helps keep moisture and stuff out of the asphalt. It also can help reduce staining and things like that, like the rust and stuff that comes off the vehicles. But it is really a huge portion of the customer base is really, they're doing it because it cleans up the property. Even properties that are a little bit more disheveled and stuff. We'll come in, we'll clean up the driveway, we'll cut through the edges real nice, and we'll slap a good coat of tar on there, and it just is a complete uplift for that front of the property, right? So it really cleans everything up.
So I've noticed in the front of my driveway, I think it's probably just time. I mean, the house was built in 2003, but I've got a little dip that goes from my garage where it ends, and then it's not flush to the driveway. Yeah. So I know water is getting in there. Is that something that, you guys would kind of patch up if I had a need for that?
Yeah, for sure. We can do, so a lot of people like to try to use like the sealers and stuff, the different styles of caulkings and stuff. And unfortunately, because that is an expansion joint and driveways are constantly in motion and the house is so sediment that will always open back up. And usually what you end up is with just a really kind of a messy front piece of the concrete right there. So what we do to repair that is we'll work with cold patch asphalt. We'll come in, we'll either install a ramp or we'll do a seam patch. And what that does is either re-level from the driveway back up to the top of the garage, depending on the height difference there. Gives you a nice clean cut bar right in front, so it looks nice and uniform and everything. And then that will also help with the drainage, sending the water either down the driveway or off to the sides versus right beside the foundation there. Or if it's just kind of come out a little bit, but you don't really have that much of a change in the level, we can always pack that full of the asphalt there. That's the most ideal repair for something like that, because not only is it not going to make a mess of the front of the concrete there, but it also it's going to divert that water properly, right? Some of those sealants, they dry out, they crack, and then all of that is just open back up. When you pack in the asphalt, it's a firm seal and it's going to stay in there for years. Like we have patchwork that we put down the very first year it's still in place. That's why I started doing the warranty on the patchwork. We're going back to the repeat customers, and these patches are still exactly where we put them. So we're like, you know what, we're going to show people that we believe in what we're doing, and we're going to let them know that we'll take care of them.
No, that's always a great thing. So when it comes to like maintenance and stuff, like you mentioned that you guys do maintenance on like stamped concrete, pressure washing, stuff like that. What are some of the benefits if I'm a homeowner? Like take my parents, right? They got stamped concrete where the fireplace is in the backyard. What are some things that I need to be thinking about or that I should be aware about, maybe from an educational standpoint, where I would, let's say, want to have you guys come in because there'd be an added benefit for me there?
For sure. So I did definitely with the stamped concrete, especially, it's a big on the UV protection, right? UV is what's going to really damage that top. And salt as well. Make sure you're not using salt on the stamped concretes because it's going to peel that color out and really damage that nice top coat. But UV is the all-time killer of both pavers as well as the stamped concrete, right? It dries out that color, damages the integrity of the concrete. So those sealers will go on, they'll protect it from the UV, and it is a complete uplift, right? We've sealed some really, really old stamped concrete stuff that looked really, really rough. And when you seal it, it is like snapping it right back to life, right? So it revives all that color, brings back all the detail, and just kind of gives you a fresh start on that seal. And that's good for anywhere between 3 to 5 years. So it's not something that you got to do consistently, but every once in a while you slap a little bit of sealer on there, you clean it up, and you're happy for years to go.
Okay, so yeah, that's great to know. Even if you've had it for a while, it's looking a little rough. At first would think to yourself, well, oh my God, now I got to redo this whole thing or whatever. But actually just putting another coat of seal on it actually brings it right back to life like day one.
Yeah, 100%. And especially because it's such a huge investment in the front of your property. So you definitely, even newer pieces, you want to do everything you can to try to protect that, right? These things are like up in the thousands and thousands of dollars. You get me to come by every 3 to 5 years and we'll keep it looking great for you.
Oh, beautiful stuff. So everybody's got a bit of a journey, right? Some people come out of the womb and they know exactly what they're doing. They do that their whole life. Other people, not so much. So I'm just curious to ask you, what's your journey been like leading up to what you're doing today?
Yeah, for sure. So it's been quite the go. Like I said, I've been doing it for 12 years. And when I started 7 years ago, I actually didn't even have a vehicle at the time. I had a lot of up and downs, and I'm always changing what I'm doing. That's why I do seasonal businesses, because I enjoy kind of a fresh change every little while, just to keep things interesting for myself. So when I started 7 years ago, it was me and a trailer, and I had to kind of pull together the resources that I had in my inner circle and kind of patch things together to get things going. So it was quite the grind at first, for sure. It's good thing is I had some good friends that had been in the industry with me before, working in other companies. So we kind of amalgamated together and got this subcontracting thing going, and it's been great so far. 7 years and several thousand happy customers. So I think we're doing something right at this point.
Oh, beautiful. You mentioned the seasonality change to
Yeah.
the business. What happens when the white stuff starts to fall?
Yeah, we are closed down at that point. So I have a couple other things that I do on the side to keep myself nice and busy. But as soon as we really we drop below a consistency of over 8 degrees, we're shut down. Or if Mother Nature decides that they want to help your garden out a whole lot, then it's end of the season for us, right? So it's kind of we're at the mercy of Mother Nature from both the start of our season all the way over to the end of their season, and then from there we shift into other things.
Yeah, she can be really, really good, and other times not so good. So
Yeah, for sure. I love the rain myself too. It's great. We're very outdoorsy people, and there's nothing better than a good thunderstorm for me. But unfortunately, it cuts us off on the ability to do a lot of the work.
yeah, my fiance and I are extremely similar to the point where it's really scary. I don't think we have much that we don't have in common, which is a great thing. And thunderstorms for us are really fun. So it rained pretty hard yesterday, and it was, of course, a day we decided to do burgers on the grill. We didn't let that stop us, but for a while there, we almost stopped cooking, and we were just out there, just kind of watching what was going on, just enjoying it. So
For sure. That's a very Canadian thing, right? We barbecue no matter what's going on, whether it's snowing, tornado, raining, we're out there on the barbecue. So I get it.
Oh, awesome. Are there any myths, any misconceptions when it comes to your line of work?
I wouldn't say myths. Maybe like for a misconception. So there's a small group of people that think, when you seal a driveway that it's going to look perfect, right? They're going to come out and it's going to be a flat, smooth, nice black surface. And that just unfortunately is not the case. You can't put those products on that thick. It's a film to just kind of brighten that or darken that color, bring it back to that natural look, and then give you the water coat sealing. There's a little bit of talk back and forth whether it's a necessary service for the asphalt, but we have dozens and dozens of customers that do it literally every year. They're super, super happy. We've had driveways that we've sealed 2 years after they've been down. They look great years and years later. And these days you see more sealed driveways than you do gray driveways. So with the industry the size that it is, and the amount of people that take advantage of those benefits, I think that it's a solid service. We believe in it for sure.
Love it. Did I see on your website something with like being able to seal mulch?
Mulch? No, sorry.
Okay. No, that was just something I thought I saw on your website, and I was like, oh my God, this is crazy, being able to seal mulch. I would love that. I would love if that product existed. You put mulch out for 1 year, and of course the winter just absolutely, completely you got to do it every year over and over again. So we work as business owners. We're really passionate about what we do. And you see that a lot on the show. With right. Yes. And there's different reasons why people get into business, whether it's something that they're just super passionate about, they can do it themselves, want a different lifestyle, they can do it better, they find a niche, offer a better service from bad experiences. It's all different across the board, but the passion is certainly something that exudes in a business owner, as they really do, and believe in what they do. So going to work, it's not really work. It's, the business and the personal life, it's all intertwined in one. And when you can find that synergy between the both of them, that's where typically you're living a pretty good quality life, but also working means you can put in a bunch of extra hours because it doesn't really feel like work.
Yeah.
And so I like to say there's a harmony between the two. It's never really a balance. We typically work more than we play. So I wanted to ask you, when you're not working on your business or in your business, Ray, what do you like to do for fun?
So we do a lot of outdoor stuff as much as we can. We're a bit of homebodies during the winter. I did snow removal for several years. I'm a bad Canadian these days, where it's the winter I try to hibernate as much as possible. But during the summer we do a lot of snorkeling. Me and my son, we actually would do some things like free diving and stuff like that, clean up the shorelines and stuff. So we do as much lake time as possible, to be honest. And that's about it. If I'm not working or sitting at home trying to relax a little bit, then I'm down at the lake doing some snorkeling or doing some fishing or something with the water.
Where's the lake that you go to?
So Barrie, Kempenfeld Bay, or Johnson's Beach, things like that, right?
So you'll actually snorkel along the side and try to find garbage and debris that doesn't belong there and actually pull it out of our lake.
Yeah, we actually we have a little YouTube channel, Life of Work and Play. You can check out the driveway stuff that we do. We have some of us fishing and definitely a bunch of diving and stuff to clean that up. Last year, I think we probably pulled about, I don't know, probably 6 or 7 bags of garbage out of that, just the shoreline, right? So we'll start at one dock, and we'll go one way one day and then the other way the other day. And that's how we spend most of our time in the summer.
Wow, really cool. You mentioned fishing. You fish?
Yeah, as much as we can. Just shoreline here and there, some perch and sunfish and stuff. The odd bass. Nothing too serious, but just something to do with the little guy, so we can have some fun.
Nice. How old's your son?
He is now 10. I blinked and that went past.
That's typically what they say, right?
Yeah.
I'm going down that road at some point in the near future. So
awesome.
Looking forward to all the positives that come with that, and enduring all the other stuff that comes along with that. We love fishing as well too.
Awesome.
My father has and I have a 14-foot John boat, so flat bottom.
Yeah.
Just a 9.9 on it, nothing crazy, but it allows us to really get into areas where a V hull boat, wouldn't be able to. So
for sure,
we like fishing for bass, largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, and for certain lakes that permit us to have our boat on there. We do a bunch of camping and go up north of Sudbury, almost halfway between Sudbury and Timmins. So it's quite a haul to get up there.
For sure.
But the pickerel fishing is pretty good. We could stay out there all day on the boat, just completely disconnected from everything else. It's quite the pastime. So
yeah, especially when you have something like, I'm sure yourself, I'm sure there's lots behind the scenes that you guys got to do, work. So it's nice to be able to shut down, turn off, and kind of go back out into the peacefulness of nature and just kind of leave all that behind for a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of the best ways for me personally to disconnect is to head out in the middle of nowhere, do some camping. I love camping, love cooking on an open fire, spending time with people that we really care about in our inner circle. It really does recharge the batteries. And then when we come back, well, work's not really work. It's more passion, and so you can really get in there and offer your product, offer your service, try to make the world a better place, right?
For sure.
So in life, we pick our path. We'll walk that path of life, and it's all different winding roads. It's not necessarily linear, and life likes to throw things our way, right? It'll throw life challenges at us, hardships, sometimes in a form of a tragedy. Some people experience a little bit more than others, unfortunately. But what's always amazed me is, human beings and their ability to be able to overcome these hardships through life. Growth comes from that as well too. Mindset, big thing for all of this, right? Seeing the glass half full and pulling silver linings from things to be able to hang on to what we need to hang on to get through those tough times. And time heals everything. And then we were able to look back and then try to learn from those experiences in certain cases and then move forward. So I wanted to ask if you've ever experienced a hardship, a life challenge in your life that maybe you overcame, maybe it made you better, maybe it made you stronger, maybe you pulled some silver linings from it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I don't think, anybody really goes through life without having those hiccups and those speed bumps along the way. Right. I came from a bit of a less put together upbringing, would say, you know what I mean? Single mom kind of life, things like that. Right. So I come from an area where, the family didn't really have much going. There wasn't, anything to pass on, things like that. And then from there, I've always had ambition. You have to, as an entrepreneur or anybody that's going to be self-employed, you can't let things ever get in your way. There's never any excuse for why you didn't do something. There's just you just didn't do it. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure that you keep your head down. My mom, for the longest time, did the best that she could. Then ended up having a stroke pretty early on in our life, and it completely changed the woman she was from, my entire childhood all the way up, and then spent a good bit of time into the chair until she passed away just a few years ago. And this was all going on while one of the other careers that I was involved with that kind of went hand in hand with the end of the season that I was having, that was kind of going down in flames at the same time. So between those two things, there was a time where, I didn't know if I had the drive to really push through and get things done anymore. But my main drive for everything that I do, everything from the point he was born till now, is the fact that this is something that I look to build and to create, to pass down, and to give to my son so that he has that proper stepping stones to life to be able to establish himself and, avoid a lot of the things that I had to overcome when I was younger and growing up and not having that proper structure and things put in place. So that was definitely a time where I was really shaken, and, some of my fundamental values and beliefs really came into question. And I just had to keep telling myself, you gotta just keep your nose down. You just keep your nose down. You just keep doing what you're doing. And, eventually everything, you get on the other side, and you're always happy. You're always proud of the fact that you didn't let those things bring you down or decide, what your future was going to be from that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. I mean, everybody's gone through something in their life, and that mindset of being able to stare that fear right in the face and then persevere through that. You come out on the other side of that. Now you're able to look at it in a different limelight, and that shapes how, like you said, how you move forward from there. And now instilling some things, working on building something for yourself, for your family, having a stepping stone for your son. Those are all positive things. What would a silver lining that you took from that, or maybe even a piece of advice for somebody who's gone through? That's obviously something that's really traumatic, both ends coming at the same time.
Yeah, for sure.
Said, we have a listener on the show that maybe that's happening right now. Maybe it's just happened in the past. And, now I'm here talking with a successful business owner that, turned that negative into a net positive. What would you say?
Yeah, just don't give up. Take the time that you need to process whatever you need to process, but don't give up. Right. And you can do two things in that situation, right? You can let everything kind of weigh you down. You can give up. You can, fall into the grief and things like that. Or you can decide that, no matter what comes your way, you're going to succeed. Right. So take the time that you need, deal with whatever situations come, but make sure that there's a time for that. Right. And then there's a time for you to get back up on your feet and make sure that you do what you need to do to stay on the path that you're on. So just don't give up.
Oh, great advice. I haven't had anything, that profound with, a close family member. I've got a lot of family that's out in Winnipeg. So, just a grandmother type of thing. But not getting to see her all the time. Dementia, unfortunately, took her sooner than when she actually passed. But when COVID hit, I was in the car business at the time doing marketing, and right, a lot of dealers had a lot of extra inventory on the ground. And then the microchip issue in Taiwan, that produced like 60% of the world's microchips. Yeah. And like Apple takes 60% of that 60%. The automotive industry represents 20%. And then in Canada, we almost get it last. So things quickly turned. I worked for 9 years to build up a $12 million business and watched everything I worked for, all those relationships, the culture within the company just absolutely crumble. That company's not even around anymore.
Yep.
So I had to take a look at going, okay, I had an uncle tell me one time, he's like, man, when you turn 30, it's like, that's when everything just gets dialed in for you. You know, you probably have a girlfriend. You're probably now, of course, in his time, a little bit different than in our time now, but you know, roughly kind of similar. You know, your career's dialed in. You're looking maybe to have a family. Like everything is just 30s was my best. And he told me this at 28. And, you know, we were doing well at the time. So I'm getting all excited. And then COVID happens. I'm 31, right? And just watch everything. So I'm having a midlife crisis at 32 years old. I'm 35 now. Yeah. And, you know, had to build up something from scratch. I tried doing something that actually put me more in the hole, realized it. I missed something right at the start that should have been a red flag that wasn't. So I invested all this time and effort. I started losing friendships, less connected to my family, couldn't even take care of my own dog. You know, and it got to a point now I started what we started now, year 3 quarters later. I can look back from the other side and to your point, I mean, just not giving up, right? Have that unyielding will to want to succeed. And no matter how tough something gets, we learn from that. And then you take on that next challenge and just knowing it's just a challenge. It's just a period of time. We like to call it a phase of suck.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's good.
And then, you know, when you look back on it, you look back and say, well, that wasn't as hard as that was. And that wasn't as hard as that. And, you know, there'll be times, obviously, when you'll come up to, you know, one of your greatest challenges, you know, of your life. But you come over those things, you look back on the other side and say, no, I know I've done this before. I can do it again. And then just persevere through these things. So,
yeah, there's value in almost every situation, right? Especially if you're going to be self-employed or you're going to approach any business venture that is, you know, you have any, you know, skin in the game or you have risk. You know, there's always going to be failures. There's always going to be things that go wrong. But you can always take something out of that, whether it's, you know, a tragic situation will make you stronger inside. You know, a failure will teach you something to do different next time. Right. So you just always got to be looking, like you said, you know, the silver lining. Right. Always got to be looking for the silver lining in the period of suck, because like you said, you know, when you look back, you always will find something that you took from those situations that attributed to the success that you achieved down the road.
Yeah, 100%. What's one thing that you wish our listeners knew about your business?
We're here. You know, that's, you know, I think that a lot of driveway sealers, we got to get piled into this one group, right? Because we're, you know, I look professional now, but when we're out and, you know, we're canvassing an area or things like that, and we're doing work, you know, we're covered in tar, we're covered in dirt from cleaning the driveways from head to toe. So we all get roped into this, you know, this very kind of like beer money kind of guys, right? You know what I mean? But there's a severe difference between the lower tiers to the higher tiers of the company, right? Whether it's the quality of work that's being done, the quality of products that's being provided, or the amount of service or accountability, really, right? There's lots of companies that will come by. They're just interested to get as much money as they possibly can. They're going to slap a quick coat. They're going to run off, and you're never going to be able to see them again. With our company, you are going to be dealing with professionals, right? Like we have over 10 years of experience in the service, 7 years of business running. So you're dealing with people that I'm going to put my name on the work that I provide for you. And I'm never, ever going to suggest that you do anything that I don't think is worth your money, right? So just remember that I may not, you know, when we're knocking at the doors, we're not the cheapest guys. We're not the guys coming around doing $130, $150. But what you're paying for is peace of mind, experience, and the fact that if anything ever, you're unhappy with anything whatsoever, when you call that number on our card or you message us over our site, we're going to respond, we're going to show back up, and we're going to make sure that you get taken care of.
Love it, man. I'm sure there's some people that are interested in the multiple services that you offer. For those who are interested and want to reach out, what would be one of the best ways that they can go ahead and reach you?
Yeah, so you can definitely find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube through the Life of Work and Play. And then you can always reach us by phone. To quick Google search of Black Diamond Sealers will bring us up. You'll be able to find us there. And definitely the Facebook is one of the best ways to interact with us. You can go on there, join in, see the different jobs and things that we're doing. And, always, leave your peace of mind, whether you're happy or sad. We take it all.
Love it, man. Well, thank you very much for coming on the show. Great guy, great business, and really happy that we had the chance to do this.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com or call 705-413-3775.
Awesome.
Bro, you fucking killed that.
Good job. Awesome. Glad to hear it.
What,
just a question, my friend. Do you have me confused with Black Diamond Coatings? Just out of curiosity.
You know what? I think I went on when I searched, I searched Black Diamond, and then I had a business card somewhere from a while ago that I had it in my mind.
Yeah, okay.
And then when I searched it up, I just read Black Diamond. So I clicked on it.
I'm not upset. It's fine. I'll take the free exposure. I don't mind whatsoever. I had fun chatting with you. But Black Diamond Coatings, definitely different guys. But that's all right. I'm sure if you reach out to them, they'll probably do the same thing.
Right. Yeah. I guess that's where I saw the fucking mulching and shit.
Yeah, definitely. Part of the way through, I was like, she's got the wrong guy, but we're here now. So.
No, that I knew you did driveway sealing and stuff like that, but that's also one of the reasons why we do this, get an opportunity to really dive right in. Right now, I got a really solid understanding of your business, right?
Awesome. No, I appreciate it. It's great. It's I do everything I can to try to have a good relationship with people that come to me for business. So and this is just another good stamp of making us official and separating us from some of the lower guys. There's a lot of people that unfortunately, they'll take advantage of this business, right? It's not very expensive to get into, but it's difficult to do property, and it is very expensive to do properly, right? And it takes a lot of practice. Some people think that, it's like painting a wall, but there's quite a bit of skill that goes into applying a proper coat, just like an air painter or something like that, right? So there's a lot of people that are in the industry that give us a bad name, and really they wash out the price point because they're not official businesses. They're not doing things like paying taxes or having any of that stuff behind them, right? So it makes it very difficult for some of us because we're coming around, we're asking for more than, the average Joe coming around. And we got to, spend, 90% of our time explaining why are we more? Why is it worth it? Why, right? So things like this are great for a business, right? It shows that we're official and shows that we put our name behind what we're saying.
Love it, man. Love all of it. So we do this podcast, like I mentioned before, right? We want to try to connect people together for the reasons why you just mentioned. So that's not only our local, homeowners in Barrie, Midhurst, across Simcoe County, but also there's a lot of business owners that watch this as well too. So awesome. We've had people call us back saying, "Hey, I got a new customer. I made an alliance partner. I talked to someone, and now we're referral partners back and forth."
Yeah, for sure.
Right, stuff like that. So, and we offer it for free. There's a lot of things that Jeff and I do. Almost half the stuff that we do, we give it away for free. Awesome. We like to, think as human beings in general. I mean, a good human being usually will give more than they take, and so we like to give a lot. And so, if we've spoiled you enough today, I wanted to ask you if you wouldn't mind telling us, if I asked you a couple of questions, and tell us a little bit about your experience on the podcast.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, man. Okay.
So I'm still recording. So I'm going to just pick 2 random questions. I got 5 of them. I like to just pick them at random.
Yeah.
And then 2 is enough, or you'll still be able to remember what they are. So what stood out to you about the way that we conducted the interview, and what did you enjoy the most about being on the podcast?
Definitely just the flow. You know what I mean? It felt very conversational, which is always very good. You're an easy guy to get along with, which is fantastic, right? That's probably a key component of what you do. So that was good, and just the general feel of it is very relaxed. It's easy to kind of open up and talk about things, which is an excellent thing to do.
Beautiful. Appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, so I got 4 more things for you before I let you go. The first one is you mentioned some things to me which you might find this appetizing for you.
Okay.
Have you ever walked into like a corporate office? Most people have seen this, so you might have seen it around, where there's that picture of the iceberg and it says success, and you see the iceberg and then you see what success was, everything below the surface.
Yeah.
So what Jeff and I do is, and what you've seen on the podcast so far is just the tip of the iceberg.
For sure.
What Jeff and I do below that is that much more significant. Not a lot of people know about that. So Jeff and I are specialized experts in marketing for small and medium-sized businesses and help them dominate in their local market.
Okay.
So we do this podcast as a way to be able to, we have our avatar, right? Just like you have your avatar.
Yeah.
We say no more than we say yes. So what we do is if I wouldn't be talking about it if you didn't pass the bar.
Yeah.
But to offer you a free marketing analysis where we get a chance to sit down with you and we're going to teach you some stuff, but also I want to ask you some questions. Do you want to grow? Where do you want to grow? What are the bottlenecks in your business? Tell me your pain points, and just go through to see, do you have leaky holes in your boat? Do you want to get into a faster boat? If we feel like we can help you, then we would speak up at that time. But I'm not coming in to sell you anything. I don't know, right? If I was ever going to be a marketing partner for you, I would need to know this information.
For sure.
So we want to ask you and see if there might be an opportunity there to be able to help your business. And like I said, a lot of the stuff we do give away for free. But would you be interested in doing something like that with us?
For sure. Yeah, we can definitely do a sit down.
Okay, so let's take a look if you have your calendar free. We're going to be...
Yeah. You kind of let me know, buddy. Honestly, with the end of the season and the transition happening, we're pretty open. And the stuff that I do in the winter it's all based off of my kind of thing. So you let me know a time, and I can work whatever else I have going around that.
Okay. What about Thursday, the 17th of October at 9 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah, sounds good to me, man.
Do you know the Williams Cafe in the south end of town there?
Yeah, for sure. Williams Fresh or whatever. Yeah. Great spot.
And then you'll get an opportunity to meet Jeff as well.
Awesome.
Okay, and then add Jeff. And I'll send you a calendar invite as well. We'll go. So we won't take up more than an hour. We've got it pretty dialed in. And then, so we're going to be talking, we like to call it the why.
Okay.
Right. So we talked about the why. And then after that, if it goes well and you're interested, then we'll have a second meeting where we show you the recipe. It's like, okay, well, how does this actually work in detail? Even at the very end, if it wasn't appetizing or we weren't able to help you, the whole goal is to be able to leave you in a better place than where we found you. So knowing more about marketing, it seems to be very complex, especially for business owners. We find typically, they come into business right away because they're really good. And that part of it wasn't necessarily planned out because it's so complicated. It's like, I just rather shelf it. If I build it, it will come. Yeah. And Jeff and I are disgusted with the statistics in the SMB world in the first 2 years and then again at 9. Yeah. And so we are big on educating, teaching people. The more you know about what we know, the better you'll be a better business operator.
Awesome.
The next component is Shannon is going to I'm going to end the recording here.